Join once again with Mr. Intope Adidipe, the author of an amazing book that we've been talking about over a series. And if you need that book, she'll be providing all the details in order for you to get it. But today she's going to hint a bit about burnout. Mr. In, you're very welcome. And you talked about burnout in your book as something that creeps in slowly and steadily into your life. Can you walk us through your own experience, or like what inspired you to write about this topic so deeply?
Exactly what inspired burnout
Mhm.
as part of the book. You know, burnout became a deeply personal topic for me during a very busy period, intense work demands, I would say. I found myself constantly connected, always on, you know, through 24/7 in all the meaning of the word, wherever I am in Africa. Because then I used to just I tell people I live in my suitcase. I was living in Togo, West Africa, but you could talk to me in Togo today, and maybe in 24 hours, I'm calling you from Uganda, I'm calling you from Rwanda.
Mhm.
You know, my life was just like that,
Mhm.
always in the air, living in my suitcase.
Yeah.
That's how I see it. And there was just that blur. What there wasn't, can I say, what we call work-life harmony, not necessarily balance, because my personal life just got blurred. It's like I wasn't living for
Yeah.
myself. I was just living for the work. Is wherever the work program says I have to be, I just must be there.
Mhm.
At the beginning, it seemed like, okay, now I'm adding value.
Yeah.
I'm not just busy, I'm actually adding value. So
Mhm.
why not? Why not? And I was young, I was ready, I was eager. And it's fun to fly African space, to visit African countries, and all of that.
Yeah.
But it just gets to a point, that you are like on autopilot.
Mhm.
You are just going as if you are a robot. You are numb
True.
because you already, I mean, you just feel kind of disconnected, the overwhelm. Then the sudden crash came
Wow.
because I was not giving myself the needed care. I forgot me and
Yeah.
just was on the walk, 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 you know. So, and this experience and seeing similar struggles in my colleagues and some close friends made me realize how slowly burnout infiltrates our lives.
Mhm.
You know, it is
Yeah.
like a stealthy adversary. It just comes in like that. It doesn't knock on your door, it pulls it down.
Mhm.
It pulls down your door. So my aim is to shed light on this quiet struggle and offer strategies for reclaiming balance. That
Wow.
was why that was what inspired me to add
Mhm.
this chapter to my book. Because yes, we are talking about mental health, and it is burnout is a mental health issue because
Mhm.
people have to learn to embrace self compassion and they have to embrace self care and to know that pausing isn't weakness, it is wisdom. Thank you.
Wow. I really love the fact that this is something that's relatable. It's something everybody has gone through. And you're saying it creeps up on you. At this point, you're thinking, like you said in your example, you're adding value, right? You're making a difference in
Yeah.
the African continent. And you find yourself that you're doing what you love, which is flying. But at some point, it creeps up on you and you find that it's too late. This is something that so many of us have fallen into the trap of. And many people assume that burnout is only related to the workplace. But also, there were personal factors in your story, like how you totally blurred out your family life. Your personal life was totally blurred out, you know. How do we begin to recognize burnout, especially when it's coming from our personal lives rather than just our jobs?
Mhm. I like this question because burnout is not solely tied to your profession. It doesn't slowly show up at your desk. You can also get burnout from your family affairs, your family issues. You know, it can
Yeah,
grow quietly in your living room. It can grow quietly in your living room. You just have to be intentional about your health because we have some stay-at-home moms, some housewives. Aha, I think that's a better word for it. Some housewives, all your entire day is spent taking care of the home.
yeah,
So the housewife would think that because they get up, because they move one thing to this place and to that place, they cook, they wash, they iron, that they aren't doing much. But you would not know that if you do not take care of yourself, you will also experience burnout. It's not a profession thing. It's not like I'm a banker, I'm a lawyer, I'm a freelancer. No, even as an individual, doing is there really anybody who is doing nothing? The nothing when I mean the nothing that some people say that housewives are doing cannot sometimes is much more than people who step out of their homes to go to offices because
that's so
taking care of
true.
the home is a lot of work.
It
It's
is.
a lot of work, especially if you don't schedule your priorities. Everything just gets blurred into each other, and that can lead to burnout because you keep you keep quiet, you don't want to talk to anybody about it, you don't want to slow down, you don't want to pause because you don't want people to think you cannot handle your home. So you keep pretending, and then the pretense get to a head and you break down. So you have to pay attention to persistent emotional exhaustion because what is burnout really? It's prolonged stress. And if you're not intentional about your health, you crash. Nobody can keep going. We are not robots. We are not machines. Even machines break down. I saw a video some about 3 days ago of a restaurant where no a walk no what they call that um, people in logistics who have warehouse. How they have this warehouse
Okay.
where it was a robot that was had a part joined a robot joined them in doing the moving of boxes of boxes of whatever it is they were selling from one end to the other continuously for like 24 hours and more until the robot held a box and to lift the leg, the machine leg became an issue and it crashed. So the person who
Wow.
was narrating said, even machines
Yeah.
break down.
Mm,
So why don't you take care of yourself? Why don't you take care of yourself? So it is there because chronic fatigue cannot go off by sleeping. So don't let us also fool ourselves that burnout can be taken care of if you sleep.
yeah.
You will sleep and still wake up tired. You will sleep and wake up tired. That is burnout.
Hmm.
And then you have consistent headache. Family conflicts here and there. They drain your energy.
That's true.
They drain your energy. So you have to be intentional to take care of yourself. Self-care is not selfish at all. Neither is it a luxury. It is wisdom. It is wisdom.
That's
So
true.
let's embrace self-care.
Wow, and these are really great thoughts, especially
Yeah.
in our African culture. Like you said, if you are not taking care of your four children, showing up for them, or your newborn baby, taking care of kids is a job. And the African culture is going to condemn you if you're not such a great mom. So inside, internally, you have these
Mm-mm.
battles of, if I don't burn myself out, then it equals the fact that I'm not a
Now,
great mom. So this
I
is
tell you.
really critical and crucial, especially the moms in this generation are also not just stay-at-home moms. Some of them also have to balance that with work. So you have the burnout
Mm.
from being home and taking care of the family, but you also have the burnout from going to your place of work. And you outline powerful yeah, you outline powerful workplace factors that are contributing to burnout, like lack of control and unclear expectations in your book. What
Mm.
advice do you have for the employees that are feeling burnt out and they're stuck and they are afraid to speak up probably to their bosses?
Okay, I hear you. Feeling trapped in a job that drains you can be isolating. When you are trapped in a job that it consumes your energy,
Yeah,
it can be isolating because sometimes you don't want to speak up. You don't want others to feel you are lazy, you know. So when you fear speaking up, learn to document. I always tell people, document what you do what you document, you know. So learn to document whatever you are going through. It's like journaling. Think of it as if you are journaling, but you are in your work environment. What is happening to you? Do you have conflicts with colleagues, with your bosses, with your supervisors? Document it, because most times it is better to have things written down so you can also analyze it and see if there's something you can do to take care of it, or it has to be escalated. But even if you need to escalate it, you must have evidence. And now trying to think up evidence when investigation is going on we make you feel unprepared, or we make it feel like you don't even know what you are going through. You just want to make a case when there is no case. So it's usually better to document, especially when you are scared to speak up. Just document it. You can type on your laptop, your phone notes, or write it in ink, because this helps you to communicate clearly without sounding confrontational. Yes, there's a problem, but you're not going to fight through it. You want help. You want to be helped. You want the situation resolved. So it is best when it is documented. You can put down what you feel, and when there's an opportunity to talk about it, you have everything written somewhere, which will help you to remember and not make you powerless. Because if you cannot remember, you're automatically powerless. Somebody will get up on the committee that are trying to resolve it and say, please, this person does not have any case,
yeah.
since he or she cannot even remember what has happened or what is happening. So also set up small boundaries, protect your break times, or unplug I love telling people to do this because I lived through a period in my corporate life where my phone must never be off. I had a boss who said it, and he can call me anytime. I had to tell my husband I have this boss. He can call me in the middle of the night.
Wow.
So just know that, just be ready. As I'm ready to pick my phone, you also be ready to hear me talk in the middle of the night with someone. And it happened on several occasions that I had to get out of my house like 4 a.m. because there's a robbery in one of our branches and I needed to be there
Wow.
to see what had happened. So you see, there are some things you just have to learn to set boundaries.
Hmm.
I lived through that period. I know I lived through it. And even the people in my team then also lived through it because had to make them know that when I say it is time to get up,
Yeah.
you had better be ready.
Yeah.
And they know me that when Mama T, they used to call me Mama T, when Mama T says meet me at a certain place, even at 5 a.m., you had better be there because by 4:30, she's already there.
Hmm.
But that's not a good way to live.
Yeah.
It's not a good way to live. It's not a good way to live at all.
Hmm.
So I'm also, as I'm talking, I'm also learning.
Right.
We learn, we unlearn, and we relearn.
Hmm.
So people will not think, she can talk now because she's no longer in the corporate world. No, even while in the corporate world, I had to borrow myself sense, as we say in Nigeria. Borrow yourself sense.
Hmm.
Borrow yourself sense. So that is ensure that even if the stress is much during the work hours, when you get home, don't make your home also a war front. Don't make your home a war front. Let your home be your peace.
Absolutely.
So as you leave the office, you go back home to your peace.
Hmm.
That saves me a lot.
Hmm.
That saves me a lot.
Wow.
Thank you.
That's really insightful, and the fact that you have had to live in both of those situations before and now gives you credibility to actually share and help the people that are going through that. So if you are in this situation and you're watching this and you really probably need more insight and someone to talk to, do reach out to Miss Toyin. That's her name on LinkedIn. It's Toyin Tope Adedipe, and she'll be able to give you guidance because sometimes all you need is someone to walk the journey with you, and she's open to
Exactly.
being that person. And also in your book,
My space is safe.
yes, absolutely, yes. Her space is a safe space. So if you need a safe space, that's the right person for you to reach out to. And also in your book, you emphasize that there can be emotional symptoms and there can be also physical symptoms of this burnout. So, how can someone differentiate being tired or just being overworked for a few days from being totally burnt out?
Tiredness and overwork can typically resolve with a good rest. You say unplug, rest, like that, but burnout is not the same. You just don't rest, burnout becomes extinct because burnout is in a different class. The key differentiator is persistence and pervasiveness. That's between you being tired and you being burnout. So if you are burnt out of exhaustion, cannot be relieved by a weekend treat or general motivation. No, you will notice a growing sense of detachment if you are burnt out. You are really not in the things that give you joy, they now seem like a burden. when you are born out. So physical symptoms like chronic headaches or frequent illnesses. Sometimes we say we are sick. It's not necessarily popping of pills. Is there's something that we need to take a step back. That's what our body is telling us. So we need to listen to our body. So when you keep having these constant illnesses, is gone. When your spark is gone and your daily tasks seem really, really disturbing, they become like, oh, this is so hard for me. Something you do without is no longer passive. It's a signal mind are depleted.
Mm-hmm.
And in Let's Share Coffee, Mental Wellness for Information Age, I share simple ways to spot the differences and to spot the red flags and heal before you are burnt out. So when you have those persistent headaches, continuous fatigue, know that before it gets too late.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the
Wow,
connection is
that's
off.
those are some of, yes, that's, yes, those are some of the things that most people struggle with, and at the end of the day, it's going to be for you to overcome what you need to overcome if you are a mother or someone at work,
Hmm.
because you have this probably mindset like you mentioned, that if I just go out or if I go for a vacation or if I go for a holiday, then everything will be fine, right? But burnout is deeper than that, and at the end of the day it needs to be rest. And you also beautifully, healing is a process that demands patience. What does a realistic timeline look like? We get people coming and they maybe have one session with me and two sessions with me, and they feel like, oh, now I'm okay, because on the outside they feel okay. And then they go, after 1 week, they are crashing again.
Yeah, but
Yes, so you said that healing is a process. What does that timeline look like? And how can someone avoid slipping back into burnout once they start feeling better? Are, are you able to get me?
please know that recovery is not a race. Recovery, it can unfold over weeks, a year or more. The
Mhm.
first step is usually rest, but true healing comes from rebuilding your habits and your
Mhm.
mindset. Your habits and your mindset, those two are very, very crucial. So setting boundaries that you will honor, because you can set boundaries and not honor it. Set boundaries
True.
that you will honor. You can't even do cold turkey. You can't do like, I'll stop doing this. You find out that you're just fooling yourself. You practice and go in slowly, because if nobody is watching you, it is you. It is you and yourself. It's not your mentor. It's not your coach. It's not your therapist. No, it is you. You determine how you get out of that space. The therapist, the coach can just do their part, but you hold most of the healing, you hold most of how your healing will pan out. That's why your
Absolutely.
mindset must be right. Your mindset must be right, and you must change your habits. So if you say you are setting boundaries, set those boundaries that you can honor. And most importantly, practice self-compassion. Practice self-compassion. Some people say, what is self-compassion? That's what else? You know your body. You know what your body will not take. You know what your body can take. Do not copy other people. So, I mean, if you're not in a race with anyone, it is if you drop dead, that's the end. You are gone. All we can do is let's give 1 minute silence. After that, what next? We move on. The people who remain, they move on. Give or take 5 years, you are forgotten. So you have to really be compassionate to yourself. As you offer help to other people, to your friends, to family members, learn to render help to yourself as a person, as a mother, as a wife, as a friend. Learn to offer such compassion to yourself and learn to say no without guilt. No, that no is a complete sentence. Is a complete sentence. Do not let anybody bully you into saying yes when you don't want to say yes. Learn to say no and stand by it. Learn to say no. To avoid slipping back, check with yourself. Check in with yourself constantly. Am I doing this? Did I change this habit? Did I stop doing this? Did I stop doing that? You keep checking, and as you reach a milestone, celebrate it. Celebrate it. Be happy, truly happy for the steps you are taking to get out of a dark space, because being born out is a dark space. You struggle to get out of that darkness. And as you are struggling to get out of it, you just know that your habits must change and your mindset must be right. In Let's Share Coffee, Mental Wellness for the Information Age, I walked you through practical steps to sustain your new habits of getting yourself on the right path after the crisis has passed. Because burnout is a crisis.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to stay in that space.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's really, really great shedding light on it because, like you said, it's a crisis. Most people downplay it probably because you don't have pain, physical pain. You're going to downplay it and think, ah, this is nothing, I can overcome it. And yet it's a crisis.
I can overcome.
Yes, and your body is going to be telling you, I'm exhausted. Yes, I know you're a mommy. I know you have all this work, but the body is telling you it's exhausted. But you choose to not listen and say, ah, I'll be fine if I just sleep it off. Or I'll be fine if I just go out with my friends and hang out. But some of these things are things that you as a person must sit down, face yourself, and listen because yourself is telling you this is enough, but you're not probably listening. So there's someone out there that is watching this, and as we come to the end, what is that one thing you'd say to this person listening to us here? Burnt out, probably trying to recover, and maybe the recovery process has taken too long. Maybe they're just in the heat of it. What would be your last and final words to them today?
I would say if you do one thing today, pause.
Wow.
Pause. Maybe for 10 minutes.
Mhm.
Don't just run through the day as if you are running through a checklist. Pause. No phone, no guilt. This phone is more of a menace than any good thing in most people's lives. If you don't pick that call, the world will not come crashing down. If you need to pause, if you need to take a break, please take that break. Sometimes 5 minutes break helps you to reset totally. It resets your day. 5 minutes. Some people say they do power nap. I also practice power naps sometimes. The power naps will help you to reset your body system and you can go for more hours. But if you will do anything today to help yourself, I would say pause. Pause.
Wow.
Because that tiny act of stillness is a powerful way to reconnect with yourself. It's a good way to reconnect with yourself. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for such a practical step. We're so glad that we had you on here today. And I'm sure that those that are listening are going to pause. Till next session. Bye, everybody.